We're breaking down Captain Marvel's first official photos. After Brie Larson and Entertainment Weekly had a delightfully choreographed back and forth last night, starting with Larson's tweet, "Hey, at EW, I'm bored. Wanna break the internet tomorrow? Wah, wah, wah." The Pop Culture magazine revealed a Captain Marvel cover and handful of images, giving us our first real look at the next film on the Marvel Cinematic Universe slate. Now, before we take today's episode of Nerdist News into the stratosphere, you should know that we're showing images and discussing potential plot elements from 2019's Captain Marvel film. So if you want to see the film as blind as Nick Fury wearing 2 eye patches instead of 1, you might want to stop watching today's episode. It's a rough joke.
Well done.
Ready? Cool! As we said before, the Entertainment Weekly cover gives us our first official photo of Brie Larson in her full red, blue, and gold Captain Marvel suit, and as you can see, it looks pretty good. Earlier this year, we had seen behind-the-scenes photos of Larson rocking the Kree black, turquoise, and silver outfit, but outside of a leaked notebook or two, this is our first time seeing her in the more traditional threads. Luckily, it wasn't just a cover. The mag also dropped a whole series of photos from the film. Now, the first photo gives us another look at Brie in her Captain Marvel outfit while standing in an undisclosed desert location. Could this be a military testing ground? It is possible. Carol Danvers is a former U.S. Air Force pilot who was turned into an insanely powerful superhero after her DNA was spliced with a member of the Kree alien race. Now, speaking of the Kree, this next photo shows members of the Kree Star Force meeting with former Guardians of the Galaxy villain Ronan. Now, this film takes place in the 1990s, which explains why Ronan is a member of the Kree elite and not a pile of purple space dust just yet. It's also worth noting that Jude Law is standing next to Ronan, and we can see fellow Guardians character Korath, played by Jaimin Hansu, with the members of the Star Force. Since Korath and Ronan weren't in the Star Force in Guardians of the Galaxy, it can be assumed that they leave the team during or after the events of Captain Marvel. Speaking of Jude Law, we've got a sweet picture of him and Captain Marvel wearing what looks like some super casual Kree training gear. Though Entertainment Weekly didn't discuss Jude Law's character's name in this photo set, Variety revealed in 2017 that he'll be playing the role of Mar-Vell, Marvel Comics' original Captain Marvel from back in the day. In the comics, Carol's DNA mixing with Mar-Vell's DNA is what gives her those abilities, and in this film, it looks like Law's character will spend a good portion of the film mentoring Carol on how to use her newfound alien powers. Next, we've got holy shit. Are those the Skrulls in the MCU? Now, this is our first look at Marvel Studios' take on one of their most infamous alien species in comics, and with potential to really make them look cheesy, they actually came out looking spectacular. And speaking of Skrulls, we've got a shot of the Skrull leader Talos, played by Ben Mendelsohn, disguised as a human infiltrating the espionage organization S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, the Skrulls are most known for their shape-shifting abilities in the comics, and it's cool to see those abilities taking center stage in Captain Marvel. Now, the next shot is another look at Jude Law, this time with Lee Pace as Ronan the Accuser, as well as this super rad shot of Carol Danvers wearing some choice 90s threads. According to EW, there will be plenty of 90s references like the 9 Inch Nails tee in this pic. One of my first concerts. Next, we have a young Sam Jackson. He's got hair and 2 eyes. In the comics, Nick Fury lost his eye in World War II, but in the MCU, he's previously mentioned in Winter Soldier that he lost his eye while working with Robert Redford's shady S.H.I.E.L.D. character to rescue people from an embassy. So don't expect him to lose that eyeball in this film unless we're also gonna get a de-aged Robert Redford. And we know that's not gonna happen, but it would be a fun cameo. Moving right along, we have a cool shot of Carol Danvers hanging out in her jet, reminding us of her Air Force pilot history, and we have our first look at Maria Rambeau, played by MCU newcomer Lashana Lynch. Now, Maria is described as a single mother raising a daughter. One guess as to who that daughter is: it's Monica Rambeau, who in the comic books led the Avengers under the name, you guessed it, Captain Marvel. It's also worth noting that Maria's call sign is Photon, another name that her daughter Monica had while she was superheroing in the comics. Seriously, she's had 4 different superhero names because comics. And that's it from this treasure trove of EW Captain Marvel pics. We're expecting more images to drop over the course of the week, but the bigger drop fans should be looking out for is a trailer. Mark our words, it's coming soon. But what do you folks think? How excited are you for the Captain Marvel movie on a scale of normal Ronin to crazed zealot Ronin? And do you want more or less 90s references? Let's discuss. Be sure to like, subscribe, and mash that little bell to get notified every time we go live with the show or drop a new video, like today with Bizarre States at 4 p.m. Pacific. And if you missed the live stream, you can always check it out on demand at projectalpha.com, where new users can get 60 days free with promo code BIZARRE, or you can check out the podcast version completely for free over at iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcasts.